Hello everyone, welcome to Art Tip Tuesday. Hi, I'm Sam and I'm a pencil artist, and my aim is to help other pencil artists to grow in skills and confidence and to really feel the benefits that regular creative practice has on health and well-being. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the tools that I use with my colour pencil work, actually any pencil work that I really could not live without. So I'm going to walk you through them and show you a little demonstration of each of them, and hopefully this will really help you if you're struggling with a certain technique or to create a certain texture, or maybe you're just starting out and you don't really know what to buy. So the first thing that I would definitely recommend thinking about is a sharpener. Now, I have used so many through the years and they have all been pretty great to begin with, and then they just have got blunt or they've stopped working properly. I've used quite a lot of crankshaft erasers, had the swordfish curve, I think it was, for quite a long time, and I really enjoyed that. But of course, when the blade gets blunt, it's more expensive to replace, and it seemed to get blunt quickly, and also sometimes it seemed to eat through my pencils. I'd put it in and you just see the pencil disappearing inside the pencil sharpener, which was really heartbreaking. So I think I've actually gone full circle and gone back to basics, and so the pencil sharpener that I would thoroughly recommend is the M&R pencil sharpener. I first saw this used in a video by Heather Rooney, you know, the brilliant realistic portrait artist who uses pencils, and she uses this one, or did when I watched the video, and I've got to say I haven't been disappointed with it at all. It's absolutely fantastic. The one thing to watch is your fingers, because there's blades on both sides, so you just need to be careful where you hold it, because I have cut myself. But there's a fat hole and a slightly thinner hole, so you can fit almost every pencil in. And it's brilliant. It's held its sharpness for a long time. It sharpens pastel pencils as well, which is amazing. And you can buy the blades really cheaply. You can buy them for a couple of quid for 10 blades. And so when you change them, it's inexpensive, and you just need to take out the blade. A blade probably lasts a month or so, so really, really great sharpener, fantastic, and you get a really good point with it as well. The next thing I would thoroughly recommend is a Tombow Mono eraser. I don't know if they come in more than 2 sizes, but there's a rectangular one, which is good for really fine hairs, and there's a really small one, which is like the 0.5 or something mil, and these are great for fur textures, for little details in the nose, if you need to lift up. I do find that the more I work in pencils, the more I don't worry so much about getting it right with the pencils immediately. I know that I've got these tools to fall back on, so that I can actually use the erasers as part of the drawing to put down a colour and then to lift some back up again. It's all part of the kind of system now that I use that seems to work quite well, and also it takes the pressure off a little bit. It won't take away the pencil completely if you're using a very dark pencil. As you probably heard, colour pencils are quite unforgiving, so you have to work from light to dark and then you can't really erase them. But you working in layers and knowing that you've got these brilliant tools to use, you can take a little bit of the pigment off, leaving a beautiful texture, or leaving really lovely fine flyaway hairs or little details in the fur that it's much more difficult to achieve with the pencils themselves. So I would definitely recommend getting yourself some Tombow Mono erasers, really quite cheap on Amazon or anywhere else. The next thing I really, really love is the kneadable eraser by Faber-Castell. I'm a real fan of anything to do with Faber-Castell. I love them. I've got the watercolour pencils, coloured pencils, the water pen, the kneadable eraser. I've got the pastel pencils. I just love them. They've never let me down. They are brilliant quality and I couldn't be happier with them, really. But this is a fantastic tool. I use it for lifting up my line art if I've gone a little bit too hard with the pencil for my initial sketch. So I make sure that I take it up, because you don't want that showing through to when you start rendering your coloured pencils, because it can show through. So I use it definitely for that, but I also use it's really quite good for creating like fluffy fur, like on a woolly fur, like thinking certain dogs, you know, these labradoodles, cockapoos with the curls and the flyaways and the frizz. That's really good to just break a little bit off, shape it in your hand and then dab it onto the paper, and it's brilliant. It just lifts up a little bit. The other thing it's really good for is if you're drawing something shiny like a nose or an eye or something that, like fruit that has a shine, like a muted shine on it, you just dab this around the edges, then it just takes up a little bit of the pigment that's difficult to do with pencil alone, and it leaves a lovely muted transition between the highlight shine and then the rest of the fruit. The next tool I use all the time is my Derwent electric eraser, and this is great for, again, you can lift up your initial sketch. I use it mainly for cleaning up around my drawing. I do this regularly because actually the more you rub it in with your hand, I know we all try and avoid that, but if you do and it stays on the paper for longer, you've got more chance of it kind of being embedded in a little bit deeper. So regularly I clean up. The other good thing is if you have made a mistake and you need to lift up quite a few layers, then just a little blast of this will lift it up really quickly, and it will take you back down, not quite to the paper. There will probably be a little bit of a stain there, but it will take it down. It's quite good for highlights and eyes if you need to get like a clear, crisp line. If it's got a bit smudged with all of the pencil around it, then this can just lift up that pigment. More smudging will take it back down to the brilliant white paper, so that's good for that. Alongside that, a fluffy brush. You can get some specific ones for your coloured pencil work. That I think Faber-Castell do one, which I definitely am going to think about getting. But in the meantime, if you're just starting out and it feels really overwhelming to buy all of this stuff right off the start, then get yourself a cheap makeup brush or something from a local pharmacy. And this works brilliantly. I've had this for quite a few years now. So you just brush away all of the crumbs from the eraser, or if there's any fallout from the pencil, you can just brush it away without using your hand and getting the paper oily and just pressing too hard. It's very, very light. The other thing I would thoroughly recommend is the slice tool by, it's by Slice. This one's the slimline pen cutter. You can get a couple that, I think they're green, this handle. This one's obviously orange, that you have to hold it in place. It's retractable. I prefer the ones that click into place and then you don't have to worry about that. And I use this to just lift up some of the pigment. It works brilliantly on drafting film. It works on pastel matte. It works on smooth papers. One trick is to lay a layer of a waxy pencil, maybe a luminance or a Prismacolor underneath your colour pencils, and then you scrape back to that light colour, maybe like a cold grey or an ivory, something like that, and it works even better. So it does depend on the layers. You do need a few layers for it to actually work if you're using smooth paper, but if you're using drafting film, it can be so fun to scrape back the colour pencil straight to the drafting film, and you can actually get a little bit carried away and start scraping away, but it's fantastic for texture. Anything that has lots of flyaways and lots of light fur laying over dark, then this is a really good trick to bring that up, and you can obviously put colour back on top of it if it needs a little bit of an ochre or a bluey tone in a shine or a shadow colour. So really recommend this, and it's lots of fun to use. Let me know if there are any tools that you simply can't live without, that you really enjoy and that you could share in the comments below. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did and would like to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does support the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.